So we searched for, you're out over there?
Yeah, sorry.
We searched for food songs. It's a lot of bad ones.
We're not going to play Cherry Pie by Warren.
Our
Ice
what's the
Cream Man
list?
by Van Halen.
ZZ Top's TV dinners.
Cheeseburger in Paradise.
Not going to happen. But Jennifer liked this too, so we play it. It's not about chicken really, but it's called Dixie Chicken.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of is about Southern cooking, if you want to spin it that way.
Actually, it's about picking up a prostitute at a hotel in downtown Memphis.
Same thing. Jennifer Chandler is Ebola-free, we assume, and she's here today to visit with us. It's great to see you as always. And
she's as upbeat as Josh Pastner was.
damn near.
Thanks for having me.
And a great basketball player in her own right.
Mm-hmm.
Her new book is out. This is the fourth book.
It is my fourth cookbook. I can't believe it.
It is. You've been cranking these out, and they are all based around the simplicity of cooking and how easy it can be. The Southern Pantry Cookbook, 105 recipes already hiding in your kitchen. We have your first 3 books at home. My wife loves them, and this one looks like it follows suit nicely.
So, well, you know, all of my cookbooks are about how do you put a home-cooked meal on the table easily. And whereas my other ones had the title Simply, this one is still simple recipes and along that same theme, but I simplified it even more and tried to narrow it down so it uses ingredients that most people already have in their kitchen already, or if not, in the beginning in the chapter I have a whole list of things that if you have in your kitchen, you can whip up these dishes.
Cookbooks can be overly complicated and lists of ingredients and can be really a laborious thing. You're kind of the anti that.
Oh, definitely, because, you know, I always joke that I write these cookbooks for myself, but, you know, it's true because I'm a busy mom. I work. I come home. I want to put dinner on the table. I don't want to have to run through a fast food restaurant. And so I'm always trying to come up with recipes that I can do quickly and easily to put on the table. So, yes, it's all about, all my recipes are about easy meals.
So there's nothing in here about chicken wings, I'm assuming. We have nice southern dishes. Peanutty fried chicken strips with maple Dijon dipping sauce.
So in this, I have to tell you, fried chicken is a very southern staple.
Yes.
But, you know, making fried chicken on the bone is it requires a little bit of a skill so that you cook it all the way through and you don't burn the side. So I made that particular recipe you mentioned, I made it foolproof. You take chicken strips. We put them, actually, I like peanuts, and so we put the peanut crust on it. You drop it in the fryer, and just till it's brown, and then you take it off, and then you put it on a baking sheet and finish it in the oven. That way it's the perfect golden crispiness, and then it's cooked through, and so you don't have to worry about it, and makes it foolproof.
What did we just have the story about pasta and how to lower the caloric intake of that?
Yeah, by cooking it.
And then it cools off, and you reheat it, and you've somehow removed some of the bad stuff. Is that fact or fiction? Yes.
I have never heard that. That sounds
yeah.
a little bit fiction-y to me, but, you know, it could be true. Maybe when you boil it off and change the water, something's in the water that took it out. That's interesting.
Now, I remember a show called Door Knock Dinners that was on years ago where they'd just show up at somebody's house and they'd go into their pantry and they'd have a chef and he had to create something out of what they had in their pantry. I was always dying for those folks to come by my house because I've got a pantry that is full of some of the weirdest things, but a lot of it. Right. And I guess that's what this is about. I've got brown rice and basmati rice, and I've got all of the stuff that stays good forever. But I never think to get it out and do anything with it.
Well, you know, when I was kind of coming up with the concept of it, this was kind of what I had. I mean, I was standing one day in front of my pantry and looking in there and going, I have nothing for dinner. But, you know, I'm looking at a pantry that's completely full. Yeah. And that particular night, I was like, okay, I got to make something. And I started digging around. I had some frozen shrimp in the freezer. I had a box of grits. I had some cheese. I had a box of chicken stock. And I had some bacon. And so I kind of made a simplified version of my shrimp and grits recipe, using things that I had on hand. And a lot of those things that people right now that are listening might already have in their fridge or in their kitchen.
Right.
So, and that's how kind of I was inspired to come up with a theme for this book.
The book is out, the Southern Pantry Cookbook. Jennifer Chandler is our guest. What defines food from the South? Why is it Southern and just it's all about the South, and why is that? Why is it different?
Well, I think Southern food is delicious food. And it's actually interesting when I was writing this, you know, my heritage, one of my grandmothers is from Louisiana. My other one is from Alabama. And so when you see through this book, I have a lot of kind of Creole Cajun dishes, but then I also have a lot of down-home country cooking dishes. But for me,
I like chicken dishes.
And there's a whole chapter on chicken.
Yeah.
There's a chapter on fish, a chapter on soup and meat. But you know, I think one of the things that that us in the South is we appreciate sitting down with family and friends around a good meal and dishes made with love, and that's what I tried to do here. Is and you know, when I thought about recipes, it's ones that you know my friends down here in the South have made. So
Sweet cornbread and buttermilk soup.
Mm.
Okay.
that is a really good one. Very simple too.
There's a bunch of soups here. We're all into soup. 3-bean salad. There's every category imaginable in this book. And all these things are one-page recipes.
Exactly.
Not overthinking, not too much to do.
And no fancy ingredients. It's one of those things that I really tried to, when I curated the recipes and decided what went in there and I did my list of what things to have in your pantry, I tried to make it as simple as possible. I have a lot of recipe testers that help me with my books.
Yeah.
And when I was doing the list, you know, I would say most of the people already had 80 to 90% of the ingredients in my list in their pantries and or in their kitchens when I started.
So what we've learned here is that we have things in our home right now that we don't realize that we could utilize to make dinner right now, probably with no extra hassle and going to the store
Exactly.
15 times.
And I give you, you know, hints to do. If you have, you know, for example, if you have shrimp and frozen shrimp, I always say that's a great way to have a 30-minute meal. Shrimp Creole. Sounds fancy, but basically what it is, it's frozen shrimp, canned tomatoes, canned chicken stock, and if then also you can have an onion and green pepper and celery, which you can have fresh, or you can keep already chopped frozen in your in your freezer. And so you can whip it up and make a delicious dish and using that rice that you had.
Weeknight red beans and rice. I want to keep this handy.
And that's a good one because it uses, you know, it makes it quick, it's less than 30 minutes, and it uses canned beans.
Well, I can't see how you can ever go wrong with this. Fried okra poppers,
So
skillet cornbread. I mean, this is just never ending.
Sounds
Then we
like
get
some
over
good
here
stuff.
into the desserts, peaches and cream popsicles.
yeah, and that is using yogurt and frozen peaches.
That's simple.
That's it. It's that simple. You can sweeten it
Unbelievable.
with a little honey or sugar if you want.
So all these books are based, once again, in the simplicity of what you can do in your own home without overthinking it or without being a master chef like you are.
Exactly. Well, you know, it's one of those things that I always joke that I did go to culinary school and I worked in restaurants for a long time. And I used to have the luxury of time before I had children that I could spend 5 or 6 hours making a multi-step dish. I don't anymore. I mean, I want to have dinner on the table
Nobody
in like 30
does.
minutes.
Yeah.
And what was nice, and I have to tell you, I brought you guys this morning some pimento cheese biscuits,
Lovely.
which I whipped up this morning. And again, thinking people have on hand, it's flour. You could use buttermilk. If you don't have buttermilk, I show you in my books how to make substitutes for things. It's milk with a little bit of lemon juice added to it.
That's better because buttermilk is gross.
So, but it adds a nice little tang to biscuits.
Okay.
Yeah, and you know, when you've got books out, usually there's another author that has reviewed the book or read it and has his comments about it. You've got people in the food business that are talking about your books. I see my friend Andy Ticer and Michael, the guys at Andrew Michaels, and Kelly English is behind this, Nick Virgo. Some great names in Memphis as far as restaurateurs go. This town has really changed in the last 10 years.
Oh my
We've
gosh,
got
it's
so many
definitely-
good places, Second
Yeah.
Line and places like that, and food trucks now, and a decent farmer's market that is operating.
There's more to life than
like
fast food.
It was like the dark ages around here just like 10 years ago.
I remember it very well, and like now there's no excuse not to have good food. There are so many great and innovative restaurateurs and people that are food artisans that are making different ingredients. You know, I'm a big fan of Delta Grind and Grit Girl Grits down in Mississippi. You know, I mean, there's just so many things that are available now that weren't available, as you said, 10 years ago. It's
So what's
really
the difference
great.
between grits and polenta?
Grits and polenta? It is the grind.
Okay.
So they're very, very similar, but stone ground grits are a little bit thicker grind than polenta is.
Okay.
It's exactly what
The
it is.
things you can learn
Italian grits.
From-
That's what polenta is.
from Jennifer Chandler. Her website, her site is cookwithjennifer.com. That's
correct.
simple. All the books available in bookstores, on Amazon.com.
You're doing a signing, right?
I am. I have 2 signings come up. I have one tomorrow that is at Babcock Gifts that I'll be there from 11 to 2. And then I have one next Thursday on the 23rd at 6:30 at the Booksellers of Laurelwood.
Great story.
Wonderful. Thank you for coming to see us. Best of luck with the book.
Well, thank you for having me.
Tell your husband hello for us.
I will.
And come back anytime, and ongoing success to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jennifer
Appreciate it.
Chandler. We'll be back in a moment with Reverend Whalem's commentary. Be right back. Okay.